Hey, how's it going, everybody? How you doing today? I don't even know why I bother asking that question all the time. I can't hear what you guys are saying, but it's such a verbal tick at this point that whatever, just kind of rolls off the tongue. Either way, this is a pretty big deal for the channel at the time because as of this past Sunday, March 4th, 2018, this channel officially turned 10 years old. Now, not like 10 years since I made my first video, because I think that was technically in like April, but 10 years since I originally created this channel. And you know that's a pretty big deal for a lot of people. And for the last couple of weeks, I felt maybe a couple of months actually, I've been thinking, what do I do for this sort of thing? I never really had an instance like this where it's something like lasts for 10 years and you celebrate that sort of thing. So I don't know. I'm a pretty basic bitch, so I figured, why don't we start things off with like a simple reflection of when this channel was first created and like give you guys a little bit of insight of like what was going through my mind or how things were made during the early days of this channel, back when this was the Super Gamer Brothers, before it just became Somecallmejohnny entirety and the SGB became the Let's Play channel. And I wanted to do that, but I don't know, the gaming shelf with games and all kinds of things behind me, like everybody that's a gaming YouTuber has this sort of backdrop. So I figured for this reflection, I'm going to get my hoodie on and head to some familiar territory just to make things a little more appropriate. So come on.
Yeah, hey John.
Hey.
What?
Well, you really weaved up the place, haven't you?
Yeah, fuck you too. Go on. Sit down. Yeah, so what brings you here?
Hey, it's 10 years. Figured I'd give the old place a visit.
Well, we started in there, so you want to think it'd be more appropriate to be there?
Huh. Yeah. A new ceiling really brightens up the place.
Yeah, that was done a little bit before when you left, so.
Oh. Good to see that after I left, you guys finally covered up those godforsaken holes for so long. Yeah, that was one thing I hated about the room. Was I lived there for how long, and those things have been there for so long. It looks so ugly. The smoke detector.
I think the batteries are dead.
It's kind of dangerous. You probably should get batteries for it.
I'm lazy.
Yeah, I remember this used to be... this was a shower curtain for the longest time. This leads to the bathroom.
I guess you can say I've been showered with doors.
Yeah, shut up. Back when we were starting, I didn't have the money for a basic tripod for a camera, so what I would do is I put the camera on top of this shelf that was already pre-installed into the wall. And that's how you pretty much got those shots of me back in the early days of SGB reviews and Johnny versus. It was a pretty interesting time to know that my cheap ass couldn't afford a good camera. I couldn't even afford a fucking tripod. Now it's just DVDs that have been here for years, and I probably haven't even watched half of this shit. We got Rubberface, Johnny Mnemonic, Blank Man. Oh, that's a classic. We even got some classic animes like Nanako here, and you want some anime titty, you like that Icon Club. Well, it looks about everything here is accounted for, and Elliot, what the fuck is this?
For the lonely nights.
Alright, well, you have a girlfriend.
She's not here all the time.
You know what, we'll just stay here. You guys have clearly marked your territory, and for my sake, with nothing to do with your anime bullshit.
Yeah, well, guess what? You're already here.
So yeah, Somecallmejohnny, as of a couple of days ago, just turned 10 years old, and I've been pondering for a bit on how exactly do you go and celebrate something like that. And I've heard from a number of you guys that maybe I should do like a Johnny versus Johnny sort of video where I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys want me to take a look at some of my old stuff and reflect on like how we got started on this channel back when this channel was the Super Gamer Brothers, and before it just became Somecallmejohnny. After all of that, and then when Johnny Versus got started, maybe the personal little stories here, how this got started and that got started. What were you thinking, not having a beard for like a good chunk of that, and why did you never replace the batteries off the smoke detector? So
there goes the air
there goes your air freshener. If we don't say the right words, we get poisoned.
There's a tripwire.
Yeah. So, Jesus Christ. All right. If we're going to start, I guess, somewhere, maybe we should probably talk about when we start like experimenting with skits and all that sort of
Yeah.
shit. I think the one that I think about the most when it comes to like some of the old shit is actually the Saw video.
Yeah.
That was our Halloween special, I believe, of 2010.
Yeah.
Because it was one of the last we did before we dropped the SGB review moniker altogether. You can clearly tell how broke we were for a number of things. The lighting effects were clearly just added in post. We didn't have special mood lighting or anything
we didn't even have rope.
No, we didn't have rope for like when we were bounded to the chairs. It was extension cord that we found right outside the fucking alleyway.
Yep.
And it was the closest thing we got, and we didn't Mark to actually help us put it across us because we couldn't tie it around ourselves without, everything just being really loose. Although I think by the end of that, we just lift the whole thing up.
Yeah, it's like you didn't even tie it right, so it's like fuck it.
It's a really clumsy villain, that Tails doll sort of thing. I think out of like all the recurring gags, I guess, like the Tails doll one, I think is the one people remember the most because it started with the Sonic R review, and we're probably going to be jumping around videos here because there's no like clear cut like origin like from the beginning. This is when I fell into the radioactive dumpster and came out a Hispanic AVGN ripoff. The Tails doll, it started with the Sonic R review, the SGB review Sonic R. It's still available there.
You were sick when you recorded that.
It was two things. I was sick when I recorded that review, and it was 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, around there, very late at night. So I didn't want to raise my voice at the risk of waking Mark up because he was sleeping next door. And I didn't want to wake anybody up upstairs. Although Steve and Mom, they could sleep with fucking everything.
They could sleep through a tornado.
Yeah, in the middle of a hurricane with bullets.
Jesus.
So I didn't want to raise my voice too much. I also think that was the case with the Superman 64 review as well. That's way back. But at the end of the Sonic R review, I figured, everyone talks about the Tails doll thing, and before then I had my share of like making fun of the thing in myself. I used to have did a few little doodles here. They're not there anymore because back in the day I used to have a DeviantArt page.
Yep.
My college days, I don't. It's been burned to death, so I don't even try and find it anymore.
I still remember a lot of the drawings you did.
Yeah, I might have still. Maybe a few drawings on my hard drive of shit that I used to conjure up back then, but I doubt I'll still have any of stuff because I had a really bad case of just like, if I don't like it, I torch it. Which you guys probably know for those who follow the channel for the longest time, when I did my first look at like 3D Sonic games, the ones where I couldn't even, I didn't even have a capture card. I just put the camera, which was this dinky little thing I got at a Best Buy for like $100. You get your money what you paid for. And I just turn off the lights and put the camera in front of the TV, hit record, and that's it.
Yep.
That's my captured footage that I'm going to use for it. To go back to the Sonic R video with the Tails doll thing, at the end of the video, I decided like I wanted to do something with the Tails doll because people made the joke. I wanted to do something with it because back then I was about, how can I rip this guy off while also throwing my own little spin on it? Because the one thing I cringe at the most with my early videos that I am clearly reflecting off those that I watched at the time. In 2008 to 2010, there was no one else I was watching besides AVGN and the Nostalgia Critic.
Yep.
You remember the Ask Those Two Dudes with the Glasses?
Yep.
Back when Ask That Guy with the Glasses was asking for like parodies and that sort of thing?
Yeah. He wanted other people to answer some questions.
Yeah, so we did our own little take on that, and that was in the next room, actually. And I remember that video was kind of red tinted, which is not like a post effect. It was like the sun was setting as we were recording that video, and we were facing the window.
Our background wasn't even that nice either.
No, it was not.
It was just a wall and a door. That's all it was.
But that's all we had. There was no green screen or anything like that.
Do you still have that Burger King mask?
No, I gave that to my grandpa because he has some recurring gag with his neighbors in Burger King. He wanted to borrow the mask for a bit and never saw that son of a bitch ever again. So I gotta get it again. Anyway, we keep going off of our Sonic R review tangent.
Yes.
Okay, we're gonna mention it, damn it. So the end of the Sonic R review, I wanted to do something with Tails doll, but nothing was exactly coming to mind. It's like, do I just do like a quick little boo jump scare sort of shit? And I figured that's been done before. So instead, I remember I love Final Fantasy. I'm gonna make an animation about that sort of shit. And that's what it was. It was like the most what the fuck, the last thing you would expect at the end of a Sonic R video was a Final Fantasy parody, which was basically just a big shout out to the sequence where you get the Dark Crystal in the underworld area of Final Fantasy IV, where after you fight Calcabrina, the dolls, basically. So I thought dolls, Calcabrina, dolls, Tails is a doll, Tails is a doll. We'll fight him like that one. And the whole battle was a callback to that one. I had a lot of fun animating that because I was trying to be as meticulous with the details as I can. I watched the gameplay video of Final Fantasy IV, and I studied all the little animations about how this works, when my character should be shaking after getting hit, and then I went to the big callback. The best part about that video that I still get compliments to this day is when we start summoning shit.
Yeah.
And I believe the first one was we summoned a giant NES zapper. With the charge sound effect, which I think was just the Samus charge sound effect from Super Smash Bros. Brawl, slowed down just a bit. The one I remember everyone talks about the most, though, was the third brother transformation.
Yeah.
That was we took a photorealistic picture of Mark and had him take two separate shots of one just like this, and one where he cocks his fists and gives him the gun show, and it does max damage to Tails at all. And then people found that fun. I was laughing when I was animating that part. It was it's so what the fuck.
And it was the one thing that killed him too.
You kind of the one thing, the last thing that killed him was the last summon we did, which was it was a bunch of video game character silhouettes all at once, and then suddenly we get a Falcon Punch. And the one thing I remember the most about that animation was animating the Captain Falcon Punch, because I never really drew Captain Falcon's man ass in that kind of detail, and that shit just stares at you for a bit. Now, it's funny, as simple as that cartoon looked, it was a pain in the ass to animate, believe it or not, the menu cursors. Getting the hand to move to certain spots in the menu, because all that shit you're seeing is I'm not just emulating a video game. I had to animate all those things individually just to move it up and down and choose this and make sure this looked right and that looked right. But at the end of the day, I thought that was so fun. As it's the animations in general were some of the most interesting parts about the older videos, because it was around that time that I was still at the Art Institute of Philadelphia, majoring in media arts and animation. So it was not only expressing myself with the medium I was studying, it was also an attempt to get practice in for my portfolio reel. With a lot of hokey as shit animations, and I think the ones people remember the most are from the Sonic videos. The old SGB review Sonic videos were along myself, Elliot, and Ryan from Brain Scratch Commentaries. We looked at some of the old games, and I starting with the Sonic 1 review, I did an animated gag because I don't know, for some reason or another, I was kind of on a Mega's XLR sort of binge. It was a cartoon show. I think that was the name of it anyway. And they parodied one of the scenes from The Professional, because kids are going to get that. And I liked the way Bruce Campbell said that delivery. It was maybe I want to animate that with Robotnik, only he's talking to a Motobot instead, and it kind of makes sense. And then afterwards, since I liked the way that turned out, and it didn't take very long to animate that, just maybe a couple of days, I wanted to keep doing that for the other channels, and for the other reviews. And it's probably the creme de la creme is the Sonic and Knuckles animation, where I pretty much just take the Super Saiyan 3 transformation and made Super Sonic go hyper, and that was an adventure and a half, because getting the colors to flash like that made my eyes hurt after a while. Because remember, I had to keep scrubbing through the keyframes to make sure it looks right. So I had to watch and rewatch everything meticulously just to make sure it was okay. And maybe that's why I don't animate as much anymore, because my eyes are still recovering from that son of a bitch. I think the one cartoon that the Sonic interviews.
Oh yeah,
those are some of my most watched videos on the channel. Period. Because it's a cartoon. Kids love cartoons. There's something you can visually enjoy. You don't have to watch. You don't have to know anything about my fucking channel. It's just Sonic and friends doing something funny.
And that first one was actually for the contest.
It was for a contest. Sonic's 19th anniversary. Because Sonic 4 Episode 1 was on the cusp of being released.
Yeah.
And we didn't know any better at the time to the game's actual quality. But we were excited for it because, you know, it was Sonic the Hedgehog 4. It was a sequel to one of my favorite games of all time. And they had a contest where, like, the grand prize winner went to Japan to play the game with, like, the developers and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, you know, bundled up and got their own little videos done together. A lot of really nice videos, too.
Yeah, a lot of them were really good.
And a lot of them were heartwarming as well. I decided to do an animation, and that's where the 19 Years and Counting video came from. And I recall reading, I don't remember who was the community manager, whoever was in charge of judging those entries. Apparently, my entry was like top 20. I like to think I would score a little higher if Mario wasn't in the cartoon. I think that's what probably killed it. It was more because I bring up the classic Sega Nintendo relationship, and they probably didn't want a non-Sega property to be part of the entry. And it was like, but you guys do Mario and Sonic in the Olympic Games. The fuck are you talking about? So my cartoon scored high, and that was really cool to see them say that. But the sequel to that, the 20 Years and Counting. I'm sorry, 21 Years and Counting.
Yeah.
Because I started animating that in 2011. It didn't come out until 2012. Amongst a mist of fucking so many delays, because around the end of 2011, no, around the end of 2010, 2011, I gotta have to look at the dates again. Shit, hold on a second. Yeah, it was April 26, 2012 is when that was released. I started animating that late 2011 because the plan was to have it released around the time where Sonic Generations was first released. It was the 20th anniversary, and everyone was making a big deal about it. I was super excited about it. That's where that was the whole point of those countdown to generation videos that I did, where I pretty much like played a level that was represented in Generations in its original form, and that was pretty cool little thing. A little time sink, a little time waster there before Final Fantasy 14 ruined my life.
Yep.
Late 2011, I was still in my job at Wawa, and I worked a lot of overnight. And at overnight, I used to do a lot of deliveries for the thing. I didn't really mind that job, to be perfectly honest. And I don't want to burn bridges in case YouTube ever goes south. And I was like, well, Wawa's still open. I guess I can deliver a truck at some point.
No, there's still Twitch.
Yeah, there's still Twitch, but both go under at the same time because they went to the same closet that had the bombs inside it. Then, you know, Wawa might be still open. But I didn't mind that job. But because I worked a lot of hours there, and because they went through so many... I love that place, but, you know, I hate kids. Well, what I mean by that is that they hired a lot of fucking 16 to 18-year-olds who were still in high school, and they were entitled little fucks. You know, they didn't want to work overnight. They didn't want to do deliveries because they didn't want to get their precious little hair or their fucking clothes dirtied, and they're on their phones all the fucking time. So I was left to do a lot of deliveries, but what took up a lot of my time because I was filling in a lot of missed spots. People were calling out, and I was like, "Can you come in?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, I could use the extra money." So I was doing that a lot, but it caused me to like slip away from the cartoon for so long. It's like I gotta finish this cartoon. You know, by the time I released it, it's fucking April of 2012, and that was the basis of like because the cartoon begins with the 20th anniversary logo, and then Tails coming in and slapping a number 1 on it because by the time it was like, yeah, we're just a few months away from the 21st anniversary. So yeah, I gotta make do what you gotta do. That was that cartoon. Whew, that was a process and a half because I had to get I asked for volunteers for voicing different characters in that cartoon because for the first cartoon Elliot and I did all the voices for ourselves, and it's pretty fucking obvious.
Like I had Tails.
You had Tails, and I think that was it.
Yeah, right. You had everyone else.
I had everyone else because whatever.
My voice was like high at that time.
Yeah, your balls were still dropping from puberty. If I remember that correctly,
they were flip flopping.
Well, they're like the judgment scales.
Yeah,
you're sort of balancing between sin and good. And so,
guess which one got that?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think your life is full of sin. So I got a lot of voice actors and actresses for that. Well, I say a lot. I only caught a handful of them. Yeah. But they were the loveliest bunch of people. They were so easy to work with. They understood what I was looking for, and they even put their 2 cents in for something they thought they could have enhanced it. And I thought, at the end of the day, when I finally finished that last keyframe of animation, after the coloring was done, everything was finalized, I wanted to shed a fucking tear because, like, oh my god, it's finally done. It's finally done. And I want to so badly make another one whenever that may happen, because
30th anniversary.
I don't want to wait that long.
But it's like it's the most appropriate time.
I know. But no, because if I'm going to be appropriate, it should be the 26th anniversary. And I don't do shit by fives. I do shits by, I don't know, odd numbers.
You do it by odds. You do it by ones.
Well, 26 is an even number. When I have the time, if I feel I can make it work within the tight schedule that I work, because when I'm not working on Somecallmejohnny, I'm managing the Super Gamer Brothers, and when it's my turn to record a game or when I gotta go for commentary, I'm also helping the guys with brain scratch commentaries.
Yep.
But if I feel I can probably make this work, I can probably get an animated gag in there, I will try my best to like fit it in there. But it most likely won't be like more than 5 to 10 seconds long, because that shit takes a long fucking time.
That's an understatement.
You know, it's my one pain is like I love doing it, but it takes forever. And those that are looking to go into that sort of medium, please understand, if there's one thing you need to know about pursuing animation in general, is that you're gonna draw a lot. And it's gonna take a long time.
You're gonna get severe carpal tunnel.
Yeah. Well, if you position yourself incorrectly, because that was the thing going around that time too. It was like, you make sure you don't overdo it. You'll get carpal tunnel. I was like, actually, if you position your wrists the right way, you can kind of mitigate that, because you don't want to be drawing when your hands are like this. It's like, yeah. it's like, and the reward it goes to for the longest time to take an animation done is John. It's like, yeah, give me my reward.
Say, hey,
thanks.
You done animating? Yeah, almost, but your shoulders popped off.
Yeah. That was my part of like contributing to like SGB reviews in a way that I thought would adhere to what I like to do in schooling and all that sort of shit. We want to talk about like some of the earliest days of the channel. Like I'm talking 2008, 2009.
Oh boy.
Then I mean, do we start with like the Dead Rising video? Was that one, if not our first review that we ever did? Like, you're dying here because so we're reaching way back. I don't know if you guys if you're like subscribed to someone and you try and go back to the very beginning of when their channel started. In my channel's case, you'll find a rant about Kingdom Hearts. I mentioned this in the beginning of the Kingdom Hearts marathon, where my first video was a rant about how the Kingdom Hearts series was so scattered upon different consoles and handhelds, and I thought that was bullshit, because this was 2008. There was no idea of like the HD remixes we would get years later, and if that were the case, then I wouldn't be bitching as much. But I thought it was a sound complaint, and in 2008, everybody and their grandmother was bitching about something, because that was back when like rant videos were all the rage.
Yeah.
But that's just the beginning, because I don't remember where we decided on Super Gamer Brothers.
I remember like we were trying to figure out a name. You were trying to see if we can kind of like parody with Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah.
And then you thought of Super Gaming Brothers. So then when that came up, you went onto Google and saw like, oh, no one's called Super Gaming Brothers.
Yeah, from like the original Google searches, I remember like no one seems to have copyrighted this. Maybe somewhere, I don't know, in Chile. Maybe somewhere in South America there's a Super Gaming Brothers, but from what I've seen, 2008 YouTube was a different time and place, so maybe it wasn't as obvious, but I don't see anybody here with the Super Gaming Brothers moniker. Let's take it. I mean, it's not that much of an original name, I realize, but it's simple and to the point, kind of easy to remember. That's what I was kind of going for. Brand recognition. We weren't even a brand.
Nope.
So that's the name we decided to do, and we figured, all right, what are we gonna do? Because I want to review games, because I love the angry video game nerd. I love the nostalgia critic. I love their brand of humor. I love the kind of videos they produce. I think we can do that too, because this was a joint venture in the beginning. It was between me and Elliot.
Yeah.
A guy who was in his early 20s and a kid who was still in fucking middle school.
Yeah.
It's like, this is gonna be grade A video producing, and our first endeavor was Dead Rising. I don't even know where to be. Hold on. Oh my god, look at your fucking, you had no hair.
That's when I was a 2X.
Yeah.
You didn't even bother taking out the Vizio.
No.
Right there.
Yeah, because there was a time where people were asking, it's like, are you sponsored by Vizio? Or it was Vizio and it was Pepsi, because I used to drink a lot of Pepsi.
There was a lot of Pepsi back then.
And I don't know, you can still see the people behind the camera.
Yeah.
in the television screen there. Because at this point in time, you were already in your horror movie phase.
Yes.
2008, 2007, that's when you became...
2007 is when it started.
2007 is when it started.
Yeah.
And then around that time, that's when you really got into your horror craze, which is so funny coming from you, because back in the day, you hated horror.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you couldn't stand the sight of Michael Myers or Jason Voorhees.
As I was growing up, I was starting to get a little more fascinated with it.
Yeah.
And then the Rob Zombie Halloween was coming out. That's when it peaked.
So around that time, Elliot was just budding as a horror connoisseur. So we figured, Halloween's coming up. Like, I think we should do maybe a scary game. And
Yeah.
I was going to say, why the fuck there's so much negative space on the right side? I was like, oh yeah, that's when we had our greatest creation show up in the video, because folks were wondering, like, what was the because when people think of like classic Somecallmejohnny design, they think of me in the gray hoodie.
Yes.
The gray hoodie, which this is not the same one. I just bought this a couple of days ago, because unfortunately the old gray hoodie that I had, the zipper busted and it was getting kind of old.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to just go.
It was time to let it go.
It was time to put it down. I put it on the floor, aimed a shotgun at it.
Euthanasia.
Yeah, I shot euthanasia clips at it with my shotgun at point blank range. Folks, there are origin stories for a lot of things. The only reason why I stuck with that gray hoodie was because it was a holdover from the greatest thing about the Dead Rising video, which was myself with a Michael Myers mask with a Freddy Krueger claw that also had a knife.
Yeah.
It was essentially a fusion dance of Jason Voorhees, Freddy Krueger, Halloween Michael Myers, and I guess Luke Cage from Marvel films. No, but I don't know. So, but either way, like, at that time, I really fucking loved that gray sweater.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, I just held on to it. But I didn't start getting the idea of, like, wearing it for videos until around 2010, I want to say. No, 2011, 2012 is when I started wearing it consistently for videos. Because I knew I was wearing that son of a bitch all the time for, like, the Johnny Versus stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, the 3D Sonic videos. Like, the videos that you guys most likely discovered the channel in the first place. But yeah, that stemmed from this video. And you know what? As horrible as it is, like, looking back at it, because it's easy to look back at shit and cringe at it, I had fun editing it. Because this was, my god, 2008. I wouldn't get Adobe Premiere until I was maybe like a year later in the Art Institute of Philadelphia, and even then, I think it was like CS3. This is before they had the cloud service and the subscription service, so you had to like actually buy the programs, and those were expensive as shit.
That's an understatement.
They were like $500-$600.
Jeez.
But that was like without a student discount, which I had, which was took full advantage of that shit.
Yeah.
So back then, I not only had this dinky ass camera that was more of a camera than a camcorder, I had to edit videos with Windows Movie Maker on my shit-tastic E-machine, Windows Vista.
Oh man, I remember the E-machine.
Yeah, the E-machine. It was like $100 at Walmart. They were next to printers because printers are computers. They're totally the same thing.
Fax machines are scanners.
So I edit videos with Windows Movie Maker, and I don't even remember how the fuck I got the video from it was an SD card. Oh, yeah. So it had to put in the SD card reader and extract the videos that way. But I had fun editing those videos because, we had a few dynamic shots in there. Like, I remember one part of the video as the character is approaching you with a knife, and you're scrunching back, you're scared for your life, you're smiling your fucking ass off, but you're terrified. So it's like maybe it's an involuntary reaction. You don't shit your pants, you just smile everywhere.
You smile through the fear.
You smile through laugh at fear's face. But I remember you take the PS1 multi-tap, which might as well have been a boomerang.
Yeah.
And you toss it at the character, and it hits it quick cuts from you tossing it and it hitting the knife in my hand. I remember editing that shot and thinking, oh, that's cool. I never really did something like that. You know, I was like, I'm a movie producer now. I'm gonna make it big. Get all the fucking pussy.
Just inserts one clip into Windows Movie Maker. I'm an editor.
Yeah. But I remember having fun with that one. There was also, like, I remember near the end of the video, you start going on, like, a physical tirade. You start punching the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
And you took the Xbox Duke controller that was broken because the cord was snapped in half because it just wasn't working.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't remember how the fuck that happened. But you took the Duke because the Duke was the size of a goddamn Whopper hamburger. And you walloped him in the face, and we're thinking, no, that should be the killing blow, because if I got hit in the face with the Duke, I ain't getting up from that shit.
No.
But no, you hit him with the Duke. You hit him with the Duke. He fell down, then you stabbed him with a Master Sword. The Master Sword thing that I got from like a flea market a couple of years prior, and it was okay, but it was a heavy motherfucker.
Yeah.
And I remember you struggling a bit with it.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was.
And then the final clip.
I don't even remember that.
You made an epilogue saying like, oh, so this is how it happened. The day that the Phillies were gonna win the World Series.
That's right, because I'm wearing the Phillies
shirt. You were wearing
the
Phillies shirt. The TV was on.
Wait, what's the TV on?
You left the TV on.
Did I leave the TV on? Hold on.
I just noticed how considerate you were by closing the door when you just ran in there. I was like, oh, thanks for closing my door.
No, it's not so much being considered. It's like no witnesses.
That's that sweatshirt I'm wearing. Oh, fucking Christ. That sweatshirt I'm wearing is the sweatshirt that your parents think is cool. Oh my God. We can't forget Garbage Day.
No, we can't forget. That's right. We did do a Garbage Day reference. 1 second, it was in the alleyway, right?
Yeah, we did a Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 reference.
In the middle of, was it? Oh my Christ, look at this shit.
Oh, Jesus. This was the most exercise that we got that day.
All right, yeah, here we go. The Sonic Unleashed video, my first one. It's just one of the first ever Sonic reviews I ever did for the channel. I had the Dragon Ball poster in the top left there, the Zelda shirt, which was clearly too fucking small on me. I also had like the thermal underneath too.
Yeah, so that didn't even help your case.
And that metal TV stand that I didn't take down for like years.
Yeah.
Until I realized, like, what the fuck is this doing here? That wooden shelf behind me with the game cases is not there anymore either. I took that down because I realized I can probably fit bookshelves on that.
Yeah.
Later down the road, but I ended up not ever doing that.
Oh, there's your iPod.
My classic iPod with my scanner.
We had to see your whole process of going into the game.
Yeah,
though.
just to make sure, like, no, because back then I wanted to make sure that I did indeed own the game.
Yeah.
I was actually, let's say, that's the face of your fucking dreams, baby.
Where she's going to show your boobs for the first time.
Wait, but my boobs or her boobs? Oh!
It was like you wanted to show that you legitimately owned the game.
I legitimately own the game,
but you showed us the process of putting it in, turning on the TV, going to the Xbox menu. It's like watching the coffee scene from the first Friday the 13th film.
It doesn't really mean anything.
Exactly.
It's just there to pad out the film length. Even though I still kind of have holdovers for that little thing that I do nowadays, because, you know, to this day I still show the game.
Yes. Like
when I'm reviewing a game, if I have a physical copy of it, I tend to show it to show I do indeed own a copy of this game. I'm not like bullshitting you by saying I do own it, then I'm actually just, you know, fucking playing a bootleg copy of it. You know, that's just a holdover that I just do it just to say that, yeah, I do have the game. But now I don't show everything. Yeah. Unless I'm setting up for a gag, or maybe it's like, I don't know, like I open up an NES top loader and a dick flies on the top loader. It's like, oh, where did this dick come from? Yeah, man. This was back when I didn't have a capture device. This is before I even got a fucking Dazzle. You remember Dazzle? Oh. It was not HD whatsoever. It was composite. You had to use the yellow, red, and white wires, and even then that had its own problems. Later SGB reviews had the Dazzle. You can tell, like, I think starting with like Bayonetta. The Mortal Kombat videos used Dazzle, if I remember correctly. That was another can of worms. But before all of that, I just took this camera that I had. No, because at this point, I didn't have the dinky little camera I had from Best Buy that I got in like 2006. I was now using this other camera, which I, believe it or not, found in a subway station. It was just no shit. It was just sitting. I was on my way back home from class that night, and I took the Broad Street subway line, the orange line, and I'm sitting down there, and there it is on the seat. It was a white camera. I don't have it anymore, unfortunately. Maybe I can find a picture of it. I don't have. It was a white camera, and it's kind of like a Canon PowerShot without being a Canon PowerShot, because that's what I would eventually own later down the road. But it was a white camera, and I gave it a whirl because the SD card was still on there, the battery was still working inside there, and the charger that I had luckily also accepted that battery. Okay. So I was like, it's like that. That's very convenient. So I gave it a whirl. I took video footage of it, and then I realized, holy shit, this video quality is so much better than the camera I have now.
Whoa, we've upgraded from 144 to 360
by complete fucking happenstance. Yeah, we went from potato to HD potato. I believe the first video where we used the new camera that I found in the subway was they asked those two dudes with the glasses.
Oh, yeah.
We were filming that one because I remember we filmed it and it was like, oh my god, this looks so much better than the other camera. Let's fuck it, stick with this one. Let's just do with that one. And then at that point, we just started filming video games with it. So I would turn off the lights. I would stack the camera on boxes and books because, again, I didn't have a tripod. I would find the most even spot on the floor, which is next to impossible in this room because this floor is uneven as shit.
Yeah.
And I just put it on the TV, call it a day. I play the game. Every 10 minutes, I got to put the camera back on because it only recorded like 10 minutes at a time.
Yeah.
The camera was shut off. I was like, oh, I got to hit the play button. I got to hit the record button again and just keep going on my merry way. And the Sonic Unleashed video was one of the first that I did. And holy shit.
It shows.
It shows. Remember, we did 2 videos on this one. We did a video on the 360 version, and we did a video on the Nintendo Wii version because you were playing the Wii version at this time as I was playing the 360 version. And I wasn't, back then I was like, the Wii can't compare to the 360, so I don't want to play what I consider to be an inferior version of the game. A fun fact, actually, you can clearly tell that I'm playing Resident Evil 5 on the television screen. This is before Resident Evil 5 was officially released.
Oh, yeah, you're playing the demo.
I was playing the demo, which I had burned into a disc because the demo leaked on the internet, and it wasn't supposed to go live yet. So, but I wanted to play the next Resident Evil so badly that I ended up burning the demo into a disc. I had to look up the entire process to do this shit because it's not as fucking easy as like burning a Dreamcast game. So I burned the demo into the disc and I got to play a head start of it. And I was kind of a little worried about it because we posted this video and I'm playing Resident Evil 5 at a time where Resident Evil 5 is not available. Is Capcom gonna bust my doors down with with STARS officers and take my 360 away from me because I'm playing Resident Evil 5 ahead of the curve before everybody else does? Oh, the fucking Sonic X poster. Back when I didn't know any better and I thought that was an okay show.
Yep.
But no, it's really not. It's a piece of shit.
Recording our commentary for the reviews.
The
process of recording our voices.
That was a process and a half because even back then, I was a real fucking stickler for audio quality. Audio quality under my budget, all things considered, because I hated the sound quality of like those cheap ass $20 Logitech USB headsets. But that's all we could afford back then, because the up and coming mics like XLRs, or anything like $100 plus, and this is at a time where I'm bringing in maybe $290 a week at Wawa, and I don't want to because this is 2008 2009. I was unemployed.
Oh yeah,
so I was collecting unemployment checks, and those were a little over $100 like every 2 weeks, and what the fuck am I gonna get with that? That was the dark ages for me because I barely made chicken feed to sustain myself, and if I wanted a new game, I would have to trade in shit I already owned.
Yep.
And go to GameStop and get 5 cents for it, and hopefully have enough to get like Street Fighter 4 or Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood, and think it was maybe that's why I thought it was a good game back then, because like I put all my fucking money into this game. It better be fucking good.
Yeah.
But back then, mic quality was a real sticking point for me because I just hated how ear grating it was. Now, we'd be using this kind of recording process for like early SGB because that was what we could afford back then. One night, I don't remember how we figured it out, but one night I discovered that the audio quality of the camera itself was better than the USB headset.
Yeah.
So what we would do is when the script is all done and recorded, I would put the camera close to my mouth. Well, not close to my mouth, but underneath my head.
Yeah.
I would hit the record button and start recording the script. I was recording video of me recording the script. I would cut the video out and just keep the audio itself, and there was my script audio.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, it sounded better than just using a USB headset. If you want an example of that, go back to like
the Sonic Marathon.
The Sonic Marathon, like the first Sonic Marathon,
Yeah.
even the Sonic Unleashed sort of shit, Resident Evil 5, to say my Metroid Other M review, my SGB Metroid Other M review, that was recorded with a USB headset because I was angry and I felt I had to say something now. And I was too lazy to get the video recording done via the usual way, so I use a USB headset. But it is really obvious that I do because the audio quality is scratchy. It hurts your ears. I would not recommend listening to that at a high volume. So the older videos, and up until I got a decent mic, was via the camcorder.
Yep.
Me recording video of myself, recording the script, and taking out the video and leaving the audio as is. That's how we recorded scripts back then.
Yep.
It was around the time when I started focusing on Sonic the Hedgehog for a bit where I really found my stride, I want to say, as it comes to reviewing games or franchises that I myself grew up with, and I feel I can express myself the most, because one day, maybe later down the road, I do another attempt at it. I have a lot of fucking sentimental value with the old SGB Sonic Marathon videos.
Yeah.
Like Sonic's 1, 2, 3, Spinball, 3D Blast, the Colors review, and the Sonic 4 Episode 1 was also an SGB review, because Sonic 4 Episode 2 was when I first did Johnny Versus. Well, when Johnny Versus was already a thing.
Yeah.
That was when I found my stride. I was starting to get used to the process, and that's when people started discovering the channel, and it was from those videos and like the Sonic Unleashed stuff prior that we found Brain Scratch. That's how Ryan and Lewis found me, and that's how that channel was created. And I don't know what is it about Sonic the Hedgehog that brings out the best and worst out of me because of its flip-flopping quality throughout the decades. But that's kind of the fun thing about it, because I feel I'm at my best when I'm reviewing a Sonic game, because I'm like the disgruntled old fuck that doesn't like new things, because I just want a consistently good game, and I feel I express that the best with those games, because I'm speaking from the heart. Because like, I got no reason to make this shit up. I just want to go fast and have fun, and they don't want me to have fun.
They were so from the heart, they wasn't even scripted.
No. No, they were scripted for the most part. The old Sonic reviews on SGB, I remember that's when we really started to get like skit heavy with like consistent gags, and it made Elliot sick. I remember we had Ryan over he was still in Georgia. He filmed from his potato cam as well.
Yeah, like I didn't come in until the second one.
Was it yeah, because you remember like why were you left out in the first one?
Yeah.
Because we were just focusing on like getting the origin done. I think you were in the middle of class at that time too.
Probably.
And I wanted to get the video after a certain time, because like the whole like marathon of videos, they were released pretty close to each other. Like after the video was done, like the next day I would work on the other video. Because they were short games. Like Sonic 1, 2, 3, you can beat those in an hour or an hour and a half. 3D Blast took me like 5. It's like I could not give a shit.
Sonic Labyrinth took me 10.
Yeah.
It's like I didn't come in until the second one, but when that happened, I felt like I had to improvise with something.
Yeah.
So then I pulled out a ladle.
I didn't.
It didn't make sense.
I didn't. No, it doesn't, and to this day, it still doesn't. I don't get the ladle part.
I never did either. I thought. Oh, I saw a ladle. Thought it was funny.
Lick the fucking ladle. I remember the one thing that might confuse people about that the most is that marathon of Sonic reviews is known as Month of Sonic 2.
Yeah.
Because that was back when I had my original reviews of Sonic Adventure 2, Heroes, Shadow the Hedgehog, and my first of 56 reviews of Sonic 06. But those videos, I would end up deleting those videos because I didn't overall like the quality of them. I thought I could have expressed myself better with this or that instead of just trying to be a giant shit post.
Yeah.
Off Tumblr or some other shit. And I deleted those videos. And to this day, I still get people asking, "Is like, do you ever plan on re-uploading those videos?" Buddy, I don't even have those videos anymore.
Those are gone.
Like, those are long fucking gone. So the answer to that is unfortunately no. If maybe someone else saved them somewhere, if they do, maybe my old Sonic 06 review might still be out there. But that was the first month of Sonic, and the month of Sonic 2 was the classic games and all that sort of thing. I did a little animated gags here and there. We talked about that earlier. That was when I started getting really comfortable with video making and just like performing in front of a camera. Then we ended it with the end of month of Sonic 2 where we made Sonic 3 CD.
Oh yeah.
And Knuckles, which apparently kind of sparked the whole and Knuckles meme.
Apparently.
In terms of like, because the and Knuckles thing was a thing way before we even made we made the joke based off of that silliness of it.
Yeah.
But apparently the video itself sparked like a rejuvenation of the meme itself because you search and Knuckles meme and our video is referenced. Yeah. And it's like, it's so fucking bizarre, but I'll take the compliment, but I don't think we're responsible for that.
It'll forever be on your tombstone. Yeah. The one that popularized and Knuckles.
No. Here lies Juan Ortiz and Knuckles. That's what my tombstone will say. And that's what I want my tombstone to say. Let's put that down here. That's what I want my tombstone to say.
And speaking of Sonic 06, how about the first Sonic 06 video we did?
Which one?
The one where the Sonic hat was a thing.
That was the introduction of the whole Sonic hat sort of thing. You won't find this video on YouTube because I've taken it down years ago.
Thank God.
That was one of our first videos that we ever did, and unfortunately, we don't really have any visual reference for this sort of thing, but that was one of the first videos we ever did. It was my first video I ever did on Sonic 06, and it was basically 2 minutes of the game, and Elliot was acting like an asshole.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. And
whatever reason, you told me to.
Yeah. No. I'm talking about like in the context of the video itself.
Yeah. It's just
Elliot's acting like an asshole, and I can't fathom to any idea why, and then I get the idea that it's this hat that he's wearing that's making him act like a jerk. And then at the end of the video, we reveal that the hat has like some sort of voodoo powers. It's like possessed.
We never finished that arc.
No, we never did finish that arc, but one thing led to another. We would run with it with the Sonic Genesis review, actually.
Yeah.
The hat would somehow find its way on top of my head, and it makes me think that Sonic Genesis is actually a great game. And maybe, I don't know.
This is basic of a plot as we can get.
Yeah, and then I end up taking, this is how we made it as YouTube stars, where I'm spending like 5 fucking minutes beating the shit out of a hat. I take it off, I start like punching the shit out of it, and I think we were playing Castlevania music over it. Yeah, it was Order of Ecclesia music because that was the new game at the time, and little did I know that'd be the last Castlevania game released for the DS, and that's depressing. I'm sad now. We kind of ran that joke into the ground. Literally, we punched it, we stomped on it, we landed, we belly flopped on it, and then I did a double fisted explosion. It was like I can do that suddenly. And that we kind of just dropped it. And then I remember like a throwaway line at the end of the Sonic R review that we decided that it was the Tails doll doing it. So we decided like that's where we're going to introduce Tails doll from. He was in a hat for some fucking reason. And then he just decides to leave the thing. And then the Tails doll in itself, that was a weird little part of the channel's history, because I wasn't sure what to do with it after Sonic R.
That's how you could tell where it's like it's not gonna go
It's
anywhere.
very experimental. There are a lot of experimental things about the channel when it comes to that, and just running gags in general. Like, cause after when I figured the Tails doll stuff would peak after the Ghost and Goblins video, because that is a half an hour long, and I'm interacting with that son of a bitch for a good 80% of that shit. And that video took a long time to make, because of all those animated stills I have to. Well, animated. There's like different pictures of the Tails doll floating around everywhere. But that one took a bit to create, just to get all those shots, because I was basically making like a very 1960s low budget Who Framed Roger Rabbit, like. Just a real live action interacting with a cartoonish medium, even though he doesn't animate that much.
Yeah.
But there were a couple of things, like, because, again, I was in an AVGN spiel. I was watching a Nostalgia Critic a lot. You know what I was watching a lot of back then? Screw Attack. ScrewAttack.com. In fact, some of the videos, I'm wearing a Low Laser shirt.
Yeah.
Because that was one of the merchandisers sung, because I really like watching Screw Attack videos. In fact, that was the basis for my Screw Attack shout for my Metroid videos. You know, the Screw Attack logo, the shout. Screw Attack. I started with the first Metroid video, and then just kind of became the running gag for all the other Metroid videos. It was just a stupid fucking shout out to the ScrewAttack.com website, but people liked it. So, all right.
there was also there was Screw Attack and game trailers.
Yeah, because they were kind of, I think they were one and the same at the point. Well, they were making videos for one.
Yeah.
Over the other.
Like Screw Attack was doing videos for
GameTrailers.com. I miss that website.
Yeah.
Like, I still like Pop Fiction and shit.
Yeah. That
show was canceled way too soon. But yeah, the Screw Attack shot was in reference to the ScrewAttack.com website, because I watched their videos all the time. And I don't know, it was just a random spur of the moment type of thing. I just like, I'm going to shout Screw Attack into the mic. I'm going to make that a running gag throughout all the Metroid videos. But by Metroid Prime 3, I think, I've done with this gag. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense to me anymore. I don't think anybody's going to actually get it. It's just something I do. So I killed the joke, literally. I shot it in the face with the SNES, with the NES Zapper.
Yeah, I remember that.
So yeah, it started as like as a random thing. That's why I don't do it anymore, because it just doesn't make any sense to me to keep doing it. You know, it just flatlined.
That was when you had the brown couch too.
Oh, the brown leather couch.
Yep.
You want to talk about something you don't want to sit on in the middle of fucking summer. That couch was uncomfortable during the summer. Because, even if I'm wearing shorts or cargo pants, my ass will still stick to that son of a bitch. You know, I remember at the beginning of my Shadow the Hedgehog video on Johnny Versus, where I'm just laying on that thing. It may look like I'm exasperated, but I'm actually kind of stuck on the damn couch. You know? I don't want to get up and move. God, I remember, like, if we're going to, like, get close to the the end of this video, I'd imagine, like, leading up to Johnny Versus, like, because the thing was that Elliot was starting to become really busy with schoolwork, because you were transitioning from middle school to high school, and you had your work cut out for you.
It was also a time where, me personally, I felt that doing the reviews weren't as fun as the Let's Plays.
Wait, because the Let's Plays, you could be a little more, how do you say, off script.
Yeah.
You'd be a little more kooky. Fall down World 1-1 pits repeatedly.
Yeah, fuck you.
Die in Switch Palaces.
Eating goldfish in the mic.
All those noises. Oh, it drive me fucking nuts. This is one of the reasons why I hate USB headsets for reviews or Let's Plays otherwise, because you can hear everything. And you guys were such fucking mouth breathers. Stop! It's fucking gross. But around late 2010, Elliot was entering high school, and I felt it was my responsibility as an older brother to not really get him involved with the channel anymore, to get him distracted, to keep him from his studies. So we went our separate ways on Some Call Me Johnny, and then it just became Some Call Me Johnny. That was always the channel's name, because that's what I honestly don't remember. Well, I mean, the origin of the name Some Call Me Johnny was because my name is Juan Ortiz. Nobody calls me Juan. The only people that ever call me Juan are business associates or faculty in school.
Yeah.
They call me Juan. Everybody else, friends, family, since the day I was born, was always John. So some call me Johnny. And that's where I got the name moniker from. But either way, that was always the name of the channel, but the channel's content at the time was the Super Game Brothers, SGB Review. But after we separated on the review channel, I decided, okay, now I gotta relabel the videos because it's not accurate to call it SGB Review. There's only one guy.
Yeah.
I guess the Super Gaming Bro. He's just there. So I remember originally, I was on a real Scott Pilgrim high at the time.
Yep.
This was 2000. This is late 2010. And originally, it wasn't just Johnny versus. It was Johnny versus the world. Because you can clearly tell I love Scott Pilgrim's cock, and I'm sucking that milk, sucking that shit dry. So it was Johnny versus the world. I even had like a little end card at the end of it to show like I'm fucking serious now with this sort of thing. But then after a while, I realized, you know what? That's probably gonna date the videos pretty fierce. And I should probably be just a little more original with that sort of shit. So I dropped the world moniker, and I just call it Johnny versus. I made up the first versus thumbnail, which was starting with Super Mario Brothers. Super Mario Brothers was the official start of Johnny versus, and I don't cringe as much with my old Johnny versus as much as the SGB stuff because that's when it's some of our first videos.
Yeah,
we laugh at it. But goddamn, I hate the way I look in the old Johnny versus videos. Because the first thing that greets you with the Super Mario Brothers 1 video is myself with no beard, the yellow-ass Bright Canary Super Mario World shirt.
I remember that shirt.
Yeah, that was right off the heels of me graduating from the Art Institute.
Yeah.
Because I graduated in March of 2011, and I want to celebrate by making video game reviews. Not drawing cartoons, making video game reviews. And I go on and mention that I think I graduated. And the mic quality, oh my god, the video quality and the mic quality for the first few Johnny Versus videos were horrendous because I was experimenting at the time before I got the Canon Power Shot, which we still have
it's over there.
Right around here. Let's get it real quick. Yeah, around that time, I was experimenting with a camera that I spent $100 on at a Kmart. It was light blue. It was ugly looking, and I decided, you know what? I'm a professional now. I want to use that. And that's what I was using to film myself for the Super Mario Brothers review, and you can tell because the lighting is obnoxiously bad. The sound quality is horrendous because I didn't get the idea to use a separate mic. We're using a separate mic right now actually to record our voices. No different than how folks use stage mics for recording audio separately. I didn't get the idea to do that shit until 2012 or 13. Because back then, I would, the camera has a mic and kill two birds with one stone, even if it sounds like I'm going through a fucking tunnel. The mic on that camera was horrible. You guys can barely hear what I'm saying. And, but later down the road, I would get a Canon Power Shot. This is actually the same one. We've had this for close to 6 years.
Wow.
Canon Power Shot ELPH 100HS. I don't know what any of that means. But I got this. I got this at I got it at a Best Buy, and it didn't cost that much money. But I gave it a shot, power shot. I ended up really liking the video quality. It shot at 720p, and back then that was a really big deal for me because I'm going HD. And the audio quality wasn't bad either. I used this camera up until, as weird as it sounds, I used this camera up until my Splatoon review. So a long time. From 2011 to 2014, I want to say. 2014 is when I switched to the Canon that we're using now because I use a Canon EOS 70D now to record everything. In case you're wondering about that, and I hate the way I look in my old Johnny Versus videos because I was still working at Wawa, and in Wawa you're not allowed to have a beard.
Nope.
Unless it was for religious reasons, so I should have said I was Muslim. Or some other shit. I don't know. Whatever. I should have made a religion up. It's just because I had to shave. They didn't want you working deli with a beard because they said the facial hairs might fall off.
Yeah.
Yet for some reason a mustache is a-okay. But I didn't want to trim the entire thing off because I like my mustache. So I just left the mustache alone. My beard was completely butt naked. And I hate the way I look, dude. It's like a fucking creeper. It just comes out of your closet with a Freddy Krueger claw. Wait a minute.
With a trench coat.
With a trench coat, no fedora. And he's balding. Because this is around the time where I was losing my hair. Because I don't know. I blame genetics. No, I can't really blame genetics because my father, John, has his hair still. So
maybe it skipped a generation.
Maybe fuck me. If that's the case. I never actually met my biological grandfather, so maybe I never saw his full. I never saw if he was bald or anything like that. But yeah, around that time I was losing my hair, and I tried to keep it on for as long as I could. But after a while, it was just not working out. But I didn't want to go bald just yet. So around that time, I started wearing a hat. Starting with, it started early because I remember wearing a hat for like Pokemon, the first Pokemon marathon. I wore a hat for that one. I ended up really liking that. It had a Goomba on the front. I remember that much.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
So I ended up really liking the look of that, but I wasn't ready to commit to that yet. But then as the months pass, maybe another year later, the hair's thinning even more. I realize I got to go bald, but I don't like the bald look for reviews because one thing I hate the most, especially in this room right here, is that when I'm bald and that light shines on my head, that's a lot of fucking cameras hate that white noise. And it just washes the picture out. So I decided to start wearing a hat.
Like it reflects so much you could use it to adjust your white balance on the camera.
Yes, that and predict the future. So starting with the Sonic videos, the Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2, the videos you most likely found this channel on, I started wearing a hat, and the hat just stood on. Like, that was it. It was like, this is now who I am. Yeah. I am now going to start wearing this hat all over the place because it's comfy. I've been through like 7 of them because, especially during the summertime when it gets hot and I'm sweating because I can't have the AC on while I'm recording scripts or live action stuff because you guys will hear that shit over and over again. My head would start. I look like a glazed ham, and my hat will get glazed from the inside, and it's gross and starts to smell and it gets stained. So I went through a lot of hats, and then that's when I started wearing the hoodie around the time because people like to picture me with the hoodie on. And starting with the Sonic 06 video, actually, the 50-minute one, that's when I started throwing coffee into the mix.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember the video beginning with the tea kettle going off. Because I'm getting coffee ready, soda, and booze. Because it's going to be a long adventure. But while I was filming myself with the coffee, I remember it was like, this is actually pretty comfortable. Because I love coffee. I've loved coffee for the longest time. I've been drinking it before I made Somecallmejohnny, but around like when I was in the Art Institute and I had to spend those long nights animating or just storyboarding, coffee helped me just stay awake. And when I started working at Wawa, you get free coffee. You can just drink as much coffee as you want.
There was no going back.
There was no going back. I fell into the abyss, and there was no going back. So eventually, my Pepsi addiction just kind of fizzled out, and it just became coffee instead. And that's when I started just like drinking coffee all over the place. And after a while, I realized, I drink a lot of fucking coffee. So
like when you add coffee to it, it kind of adds. This is putting it very lightly. It adds a bit more class to it.
Yeah, I suppose so. And it was also maybe one of my final homages to the AVGN because you think AVGN, you think beer.
Yeah.
Rolling Rock, and I'm thinking, I can do that too with coffee. So I'm gonna get a mug out and just gonna drink my coffee. Because I don't really drink a lot of alcohol. I mean, occasionally, when I'm at a social gathering, I'll have a beer or anything like that, or a mixed drink. If it's really fucking good, I'll guzzle that shit down. But I have to keep it relatively safe. I drink a lot of water, and I drink coffee and orange juice for breakfast, most likely. But I found it so comfortable, like when I'm sitting on the couch or whatever I'm at where I'm recording live action stuff, and I just got there's a mug in my hand, because most of the time I do have coffee in the mug. it was crazy, but I ended up liking the feel of it. It was cozy. I take a sip of it. It was warm, and that was it. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna have coffee on the video from now on. I think that's where I want to be in my life now. But to go back to what we were saying, like, do you have like any sort of, for good or ill, memories of what we've done in the past, decade, honestly, because it's been that long.
The Sonic Unleashed Wii review.
Yeah.
Where we just ended up bickering at each other, and we just like decided like, oh okay, we could just say that one's versions go with the other person, and it's like, okay, let's play Rock Band.
Yeah. Like a random fucking thing. I remember that because that was back when Rock Band and I think Guitar Hero World Tour were the talk of the town for maybe 5 minutes, and then it just kind of petered out. But we had those peripherals. And the Rock Band mic is actually something I would use for some of my first commentary recordings for Brain Scratch commentaries. For Super Mario Brothers and Mega Man 2, our first recordings of those, I was using a Rock Band microphone. After that video, those peripherals kind of just collected dust afterwards because nobody was really playing the game anymore.
Yeah.
But that was a really weird fucking way to end that video. The Saw review. That was a game that was one of those rare instances of a game that I just gave up on, like, midway through. I don't even think we got to the midway point on that one. Because I don't know how long that game is. Okay, actually, let's look up for reference here. Yeah, there we go. So we go to how long to beat .com to get a general idea of how long a game is for like maybe like a future review or something like that. Saw is apparently a 6-hour long game. I couldn't get past 2 hours because
like it's a 6-hour game. You can't even get past the length of an actual Saw film.
Yeah. Maybe there's a reason why I never watched those films growing up. But the Saw review process, I'm not even talking about like the video making process with like we're bound and gagged by Jigsaw. That was a fun little thing though too. It's like I got to like put on a Jigsaw impression and just like we go back and forth with it. It's like this is actually happening.
Yeah. And then it turns out to be the Tails doll.
Yeah, that's a whole other thing right there. And then Mark turns the TV off to see it fade away until like what review was it? The Mega Man 7 review. There you go. That's when Nathan goes inside my TV and inadvertently releases the doll out of the TV because we just got to bring him back. That leads to the Ghosts and Goblins review. The video making process wasn't the problem. It was just recording the game itself. Because I actually really hated that game. Like, the tripwires were like just part of the reason because the game was so dark and you couldn't really see that shit, which might have been the point, but I think they just layered it on too thick, and you're playing the game, it's like you're tippy-toeing everywhere, which is like leads. If it's a 6-hour game, then like 4 of those hours is just you slowly meandering around the area, hoping you don't run into a tripwire of any kind. But the fucking wiring puzzles where you had to like twist and turn these things, they give you so many of those damn puzzles, and it drove me nuts after like 2 hours. And you know what? We can make a review just off of this because we're gonna rage quit. That's actually why in that video we rage quit. Like we don't finish the game. We just say fuck this. I'm taking the extension cords out. The reason was I didn't finish the game. So in essence, it's not really a review. It's just more of a look at because we only put 2 hours into it. Superman 64. That game was so broken that I ended up having to use a level select code just to jump from level to level to experience what I've been missing. In terms of like a good third of his rings. Yeah. Just flying through rings. I remember my favorite part of that video was the glitch where I got the new super speed power up. And I'm just testing it out, and I run in a straight line, and I fucking go out of bounds. I transcend existence, and I go outside the wall, and it just happens so casually. And it's like recording that part of the script. I remember I was laughing at it because I'm just talking about it. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" Like I can't do this anymore. That was a really fun review to record. I remember that's also when we had you in that demon mask.
Oh.
We had you in that rubber demon mask.
That rubber demon mask we had for years. And we're looking at it and was like, we need to make something out of this. Look at this. Like, we did something with the fucking Burger King mask. Yeah.
It's like, so why don't we do anything with this one? So we you put the mask on, and I remember we didn't have a cloak of any sort.
Nope.
To make it look demonic, so we used shower curtains. That's what you're wearing in the Superman. Yeah, he's wearing black shower curtains. He's wearing it like upside down so you don't see the shower rings.
Yeah.
Well, the holes for the shower rings. But yeah, Elliot's wearing shower curtains for that one. And we were talking about like putting on a voice for it, and we ended up just doing ADR.
Yeah,
I did a voiceover.
You didn't even hide it was you.
No, I didn't even hide it was me.
Because just like the game, we're lazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all intentional. It comes full circle.
Except for me hitting the lamp when I was moving back.
that was one of my favorite parts because that was unintentional. Because the shot was just supposed to end with Elliot going backwards and then fading out of existence.
Yeah.
Because that was around the time I started like experimenting with video effects and knowing the tricks of that sort of shit. Because that required 2 shots, and then it just was the opacity lowering on one of them to make it look like you're disappearing. But near the end of it, you would bump into the lamp. So I mean, I liked it at the same time because it kind of made this demon's not really anybody. He's a piece of shit. But that was around the time where I liked experimenting with video effects. I also made this very short clone video. It was like 20 seconds long.
Oh,
and
I know what you're talking about.
It is me just walking into the shot, and then suddenly my evil twin brother Jackson walks into the shot, and we just look at each other for a bit, and then we get the hell out of there. Now you can clearly tell the video is spliced because I think like one half of the video like darkens for a split second to let you know that someone else is in the room.
Yeah.
But when I did that for the first time, I was like, "Fucking hell, I'm a genius!" It's like I'm gonna make a YouTube career out of this shit. But yeah, that was like my very experimental time. I remember the beginning of the Superman 64 video. When the demon is talking to me, it's got like these hellfire and brimstone effects talking to me, and then it just cuts out because I hate fun. It was a very experimental time, and for better or worse, yielded results that people cringe at, people enjoy. That's how they found the channel. I'm pretty reserved nowadays. In fact, a lot of people know me as like they always talk about like how my voice is very soothing, relaxing. It'd be good for ASMR, I think is what it's called. Just auditory levels that help put you to sleep, which I still can't for the life of me figure out if it's a compliment or not.
I got that too.
It's like your voice is good. Your voice puts me to sleep. It's like, thanks, fuck you too. It's like, no, it's a compliment. Oh, thanks, fuck you too. The early days of the channel was a very crazy time because I was still trying to find my voice. And after a while, I just figured, you know what? Let me stop trying so hard and just sit down and just talk about the game. Because you look at my videos, they are not editing masterpieces at all. It's just my voice. It is me talking over game footage, and if I think of a funny joke, or if I think it's a funny joke, then I'll splice something in there. If I got an idea for a skit, if that ever happens, then I'll put it in there or not. But I've actually become quite proud, in the loosest fucking sense there, of the persona that I have developed throughout the last decade, where I'm just a guy sitting on a couch telling you about this game that I played and whether or not I think it's good, and here are my reasons for thinking it's good or bad, and whether or not you should play it or not. Now more than ever, I hear that from folks that find the channel. I was like, dude, you're so fucking relaxing. And I was like, yeah. I know, it's so weird because I'm just playing myself, honestly. Like, I'm only... Well, not true. I play a slightly exaggerated version of myself in front of the camera. Because if you look at me in like collab videos, like for like anyone at Bone, like I'm an asshole. Like I'm a no nonsense jerk off who just can't be bothered to be here. But I kind of like that dichotomy because there's a Somecallmejohnny outside the channel and there's a Somecallmejohnny from this channel, and everybody gets a Somecallmejohnny goodness when they look at my channel. It's like my nipples are so hard right now. At the end of the day, I have you guys to thank for that, for helping me. And Elliot, and honestly, all the channels that I'm connected with, for helping me grow throughout this last decade, because it has been an adventure throughout those years. We can make a video like this where we can reflect and look back and cringe and just squeeze our eyes until they fucking bleed.
In HD.
Yeah, in HD. We're 1080p. That's how far we've come. Look at the video quality of this video compared to... Yeah, that. I mean, what the hell is that? But it's because of you guys watching everything that we've done in the last decade that we're able to grow as not only content producers or entertainers, but as just folks in general. Because I was 21 years old when I started making videos, and you were 13. Yeah, he was a kid. Just a budding teenager, and you guys have watched us grow. We watched me lose hair, grow a beard.
You saw me grow hair.
Yeah, he's taking it from me. He's taking it all. That's the secret of the channel, is that as I lost hair, Elliot took it. But he can't grow a beard for shit. I got that. It's like a photo album, like a live action photo album. You go back and watch the old stuff, and it's like, fuck me, these guys are horrible. And then you go back and watch the new stuff, and it was like, oh. I think I'll watch the Nostalgia Critic instead. As always, as we'll say again and again, and maybe another 10 years from now, we have another callback. Well, we'll do a reference video on this video that we recorded today. Remember when he said that thing about that other video he was talking about? Yeah, great times. Fuck that guy. We appreciate your company as always. Thank you for tuning in each and every single time when we upload new videos, whether it's from here or SGB or Brain Scratch Commentaries, because you guys have made it worth it to help us produce videos and show us the good times as well. Because when you guys think of stuff based on what we do in videos, it's a fucking riot and a half. And if that means I can keep doing this for the rest of my life while still making ends meet and taking care of myself and paying the bills and trying my damnedest to be a responsible and adult, then I think I made the right choice in life. And I hope this video acts as a testament as to what someone like me can achieve in 10 years' time. I'm not AVGN big. I'm not Nostalgia Critic big. I'm not even like who else can we compare it to?
Completionist?
Yeah, Completionist, Cat Icarus.
Game Theorist.
All those guys well, that's not fucking fair. But I was never that big, and I may never be, from those channels have like 500,000 over 1 million subscribers, and I went from 0 to 300K in about 10 years time. It's pretty healthy growth, not the biggest, but I am pretty happy with where I am. And for those looking to start somewhere on this channel, I mean, well, not in this medium specifically, maybe it's on YouTube, maybe it's on Twitch or anything like that. If I can do it, you can certainly fucking do it. I feel my kind of content doesn't take much to produce. So as long as you just stick to it, just hang in there, you're gonna be just fine.
Yeah. I'm
doing fine. I think I'm doing fine. The cue card just kind of blurs out at the end there. What do you mean I shouldn't say that?
Wait, why is applause written in my lines?
Awkward chuckle. Well, that was a very interesting look back at some of our earliest adventures and how this channel really got started and what it eventually became to. But this is 10 years. I don't think we can just leave it at a 2-hour video. No, I feel we should do a little more. So what do we say we pick up where we left off at the very beginning of the channel's days? Would you want to help me finish Dead Rising?
Fuck it, yeah, I'll do it.
Yeah, let's do Dead Rising. We never did finish that game for the review.
No.
Maybe we won't stop there. I mean, we can probably redo some of our older stuff together.
Maybe we could beat Saw this time.
We can beat Saw this time. Yeah, you know what? Why not? We gotta make do with like some of the shit we half-ass.
Gerard's doing new completion is New Game Plus.
That's right.
Yeah, we're doing that now.
We can do that too, motherfuckers. All right. We can. All right. I think like throughout the next couple of weeks, maybe bleeding into April or May, because we got our own schedules there.
Yeah.
We can give a second take to some things that we did as SGB.
We'll call it SGB reviews in parentheses in small text temporarily.
No, we'll see what happens. You got to think of branding. Think of the T-shirts and marketing deals and shit. Well, that's for later down the road. Who knows how happen throughout the rest of this month as I celebrate 10 years of some...
Fuck, I'm old.
Well, this video has gone on long enough. So from us here, from Somecallmejohnny
and SGB.
And Brain Scratch somewhere back there.
It's somewhere there.
Thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic night. And there's no coffee in my hand.
You already drank the coffee.
And take care.